Welcome to the Longbox podcast presented by Plus Wickle Comics and Rogue Media Network.
Your bi-weekly info dump of all comics news. Oh, we're on camera.
Ooh, I'll get you, you wascally wabbit.
Hey, that's not bad. That's tight. That's tight.
Mono's gonna start doing voiceover work.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. That's my audition, Mike. If you heard that.
I'll have to get into it, man. So today, it's what is it? Today's Saturday, and it's pretty early for today. We haven't recorded
I don't
this
think
early.
people need to know what day it is.
I'm sorry, man. I'm thinking I'm on The View. This is the comic view.
Yeah.
The comic view.
Even that's titles taken.
The comic view? Is it?
Yeah.
Dang.
Or it was taken by BET. BET's comic view.
Yeah,
What the
comic view. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad.
Dang.
Yeah.
I swear one day you're going to mention something and I'm going to have seen it.
I doubt it.
Maybe.
You're so little.
What?
Not even young anymore. You're just little.
I'm
Joey's
almost
still
30.
a toddler.
I'll get there. I'm growing up one day.
Mono, you have shit in your hair.
Oh, like actual shit? Or
No, like
I don't know. I had
like a white.
Oh, I had a crazy
Yeah.
night last night, so it could be actual shit. I don't know.
Mono was like doing like putting acoustic on a ceiling earlier.
Now, I don't know if you saw it, but yesterday at the Rogue Media Network mixer, shout out, there was this little girl that kept on playing with Mondo's hair. It's
Yeah, I saw that.
right.
Yeah, get it. Just
grab
get it.
dude.
I can't. Is this food? Is
Is
this
it-
cheese?
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, don't touch it. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's for Don't touch it. Is there hand sanitizer somewhere?
My bad, guys. I should have just left it alone.
Yeah,
Probably should have.
that's good.
So last night was pretty wild, apparently, for Mondo.
Yeah,
but let's get
let's get into his comics and stuff.
yeah, let's segue into the show, y'all. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
let's get into it.
So let's get off in some news. Danny, what did you bring to the table today?
Why am I starting?
Because you called me out saying I
How
had to
did-
have two, and I only had one.
No, what were you? Because you were super excited about
Yeah.
the one. What is it? Let's get it off your chest.
All right, so I love Star Wars, obviously, right?
Next, Mondo, what do you got?
Oh man.
We'll come back to you.
Joe Quesada, who's the what's the
Oh, he
actual
was
position?
editor in chief.
editor in chief at Marvel for
Almost 20 years.
almost 20 years. Has decided to leave Marvel on his own volition to start doing indie movies. Like
Really?
I think that's
Indie films?
Yeah, like he's writing a script to try to do an indie film with the studio. I think
That's
he wants-
awesome.
Yeah, so it was very. He did he's always very active on Facebook doing drink and draws, live streams and things and talking to people and doing his own YouTube stuff, and everything was normal. And then the next day he just made the announcement, a long post of, thanking Marvel and his time there and his
That's crazy.
opportunities.
Yeah.
So it was a good breakaway, nothing bad or anything. Just he wants to try a different creative avenue. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I grew up with Marvel, and I remember right before Quesada took over or joined Marvel proper. Marvel was kind of in the dumps. That was the Avengers were all wearing like leather jackets, and Daredevil had armor.
What was going on?
They
They were almost bankrupt.
Yeah.
It was bankruptcy, and they were like just throwing anything and everything they could.
Is this pre-Blade? Whenever they started selling all the properties to the movie theater or movie companies and all that.
They had to, yeah, because they made a bad bet on, I think, distribution or something. They spread themselves way too thin, and so now they were just losing money.
right.
Yeah.
And they had lost a lot of their top artists to Image.
Yeah.
They all jumped ship and said, you know what, we're bouncing. We're gonna go start our own thing.
Like all the people that were on the main titles. Yeah.
So, but Quesada came in. He started the new Daredevil, the Marvel Knights line, where it took a lot of the grounded street level characters and elevated them up to a new status. Daredevil had always been a popular character, but with Marvel Knights, it reestablished him. It took him away from all that armor nonsense, and which I got to be honest, I kind of like the armor. It was trash, but I kind of dug it. It was neat.
Yeah.
But I get why they wanted to get back away from it. They wanted to get him back to his roots.
Yeah.
But he came in, did the Marvel Knights, and then shortly thereafter, they Marvel had decided, wow, we've got like kind of a gold mine on our hands, and Quesada, like they elevated him to editor in chief, and he solidified Marvel from like the 90s to the 2000s to 2015 almost. And then 2011, then Axel Alonso took over, and then Joey's main nemesis now is editor in chief.
Yeah.
Damn you, Cebulski.
All right, let's get into
My turn?
Yes,
Finally. All right. Cool. So in Star Wars, there's going to be a Yoda series coming out from Marvel.
Oh my god!
And it's cool.
I really want to say next.
I mean, we had these conversations in our group chat about Star Wars like this last like 2 weeks or a week or two ago.
You better pick it up.
I know.
Because this is trash already.
It might be shit. And I always said that the story needs to go forward rather than backwards. But this one I'm pretty excited about because we never got to see visually. There's books about it, but we never got to see visually Yoda's exile on Dagobah after Episode 3. Like in between 3 and 4, we never got to see what happens and how what journeys he goes along.
Why do you need to? He dies.
I mean, yeah.
He dies in the first trilogy.
Everybody dies. Every story. That's the end of every story.
Tired. He got so tired of Luke Skywalker. His dude basically said, "Bet."
Just ghosted, bro. Just, dude. That's like, but that's. I think it's like a never-ending cycle with Star Wars and their fans because those characters like that who are iconic characters in the movies when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
They try to recycle them back into the story somehow. And it just makes fans mad because fans have opinions of how they wanted that character to be in the story.
Fans have their own idea established of what happened in their own mind.
Right.
And when it doesn't meet that expectation, they lash out.
Yes. And it happens to a lot of popular characters, and it just ends up ruining the excitement of the genre and the story and everything. I mean,
especially, and I know I said this in the chat, after 30 years of nothing, and then you want to come back with a show or a movie and try to explain that 30, you know how long the 30 years you've already solidified, you've cemented in your own mind what happened. Mm-hmm. If it isn't that, you're going to be super pissed. But if, like 30 days is nothing. You can change your mind. Like, oh yeah, that works better. But 30 years? No. You've already told your kids, this is what happened.
Right. It's wild.
So you're working on 2 generations of people with their mindset already. So, I mean, again, Star Wars should die.
It should.
It doesn't need to die. It just needs to move forward.
No, it should die.
It should move
forward.
It should die.
They're already doing this stuff with like The Mandalorian of trying to, it started off as a good series and now they're trying to cycle back and bring these characters and tie it all in, and how did like Obi-Wan fit in it and all this stuff. Like
I thought The Mandalorian was set way after everything. And then come to find out, no, it's when Luke is a master Jedi. Fuck that. I'm not watching it anymore.
Exactly.
It was good. It was good when I thought it was moving the story forward. It's not doing that.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what happens in the future.
no, we won't.
I will.
You will.
I will.
You will. And we will cut you off every time.
Next. We need to get a buzzer.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, like it's one. I think I remember I made a post like when I first started writing comics. Is that like in 10 years I want to be writing a Star Wars book for Marvel.
Yeah.
And still to this day, but I'm taking notes. I'm making sure.
I think the comics is a perfect way that if you want to explore those stories, to go back in a 6-issue or a one-shot of Yoda's exile, do it in a comic. That gets people to get in the comic store, to support the artists, the writers, and read their stories, as opposed to just going to watch a movie and then just being on all these online, groups and hating everybody. And
because that's another thing. With movies, you have to wait at least a year before the next movie comes out because you're trying to get the production ready, the actors ready, the scripts done. With comics, it's like, what? A 30-day period.
Yeah.
And then also, too, you think about, like, if there's any, issues with the actors and their personal lives, you got to wait even longer, right?
Like you handpicked someone to play a princess in the movie, and you come to find out in real life she's shitting in people's beds.
Sorry.
Look, allegedly. Okay. Allegedly. We weren't there. We didn't have cameras set up. We don't know what happened.
I think Johnny.
Anyways,
Yoda #1 coming October from Marvel, written by Kevon Scott. The art's gonna be by Nico Leon.
All right. So that is a comic then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Covered by Phil Noto. And
that dude goes hard.
Who?
Phil Noto.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Nico Leon's pretty solid too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the names don't pop out to me, so I'd have to see about them. But I'm excited. I'll see about it.
Yeah, cool.
What you got, Danny? Trash.
It probably is. I think it's neat. I think it's a neat little thing. The Popeye syndicated comic strip. They're the artist / writer is modernizing it.
What?
To where like Popeye is a tail end Gen Xer and Olive Oil is like a millennial and everything. So they're going to try to inject new blood in. I grew up watching Popeye cartoons, and I love Popeye versus Sinbad the Sailor. Popeye and his nephews, even the Robin Williams Popeye movie. My wife hates it. She loathes it with a passion.
For real? Oh man!
Like it was on HBO a while back, and she was like, "Why are we watching this fucking garbage?" And I was like, "It's fun. What you don't like fun? You don't like whimsy and mirth? All of a sudden, she doesn't."
Yeah, it was so fun, man.
No, but so I'm excited to see what they do with this character that's been around for decades.
Tight. So where have you been reading these the strips at?
They're online.
Online?
I think like King Syndicated Features or kingsyndicated.com.
And has he already started the modernization, or is that coming?
No, it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. I saw a news article on like comic book resources. Another of Joey's enemies. What did I tell you? Write better.
I will, man. I will, and I have been.
Good. I'm glad.
Speaking of writing better, I think that kind of segues really good into our topic for today.
You don't have any more news?
I don't.
Let me see. I think I got maybe something else.
I'd have to fish for it. Nothing's really.
I've been saving articles. That's been helping. Like on
I
Facebook,
need to do that.
You can save articles and just go to your saved documents. But I might have not saved anything.
I usually read the articles and then type out like my thought into a note.
Oh, that's good too.
And then that way I have like a bunch of like bing, 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 and that way I'm top of mind.
It's like not prepared, a little prepared, super prepared.
That's just Danny. That's why he's editor in chief, man. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Nothing. All right, I guess we'll take a break and then we'll get back into the whole writing thing.
Sounds good.
All right.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Welcome back to the Longbox Podcast, presented by Plus Waco Comics and Rogue Media Network. I wasn't supposed to do the whole intro again, wasn't I?
No.
But they got it, so it's all right. I got my practice in.
Yeah.
My
Joey's
bad.
practicing every time. Yeah. Before we get into the topic, we want to do what we read or no?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right. What'd you read?
I took one for the team, and I read Banner of War Alpha. And so Banner of War Alpha is Donny Cates's mashup of his Hulk run and his Thor run, and they're going to be back and forthing. So
Did Donny Cates do Thor? I thought it was somebody. I thought it was Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron's Thor, right? I'm
Okay.
sorry. And so where Odin is in the hammer now, and Thor is the All Father and all that.
This is a slightly different take from Joey last time when he was like getting ready to read Banner of War, and he was like, guys, I'm so excited.
Excited.
And today it's like, I took one for the
I
team.
took one for the team.
I didn't realize that. Dang it, man! But it's kind of true. And so what ends up so this run it's Banner of War Alpha, and then it's going to be continued in Thor 25, and then Hulk number 7, and then it's going to go back and forth, and I think it ends in October. But it's a beat 'em up book, and it mashes Hulk versus the Hulk versus Thor. But in this time, it's the Starship Hulk. So Bruce Banner has somehow split the Hulk into 3 different pieces: the body of the Hulk, the mind of the Hulk, and the engine room. The engine room is what Banner is using to control the Hulk, and he's like piloting the Hulk to fight Thor. And so Thor is trying to go after the Hulk for something that happened in New Mexico. There was a rage incident. He had killed some people again. And so this time he's going after him. And they just fight. I wish there was more stakes about it, but it's just a beat 'em up book. Like they end up on this planet that looks like Adventure Time. Like there's full of cartoons everywhere, and they're just wailing it out. And then they get zapped to a different planet, or they get zapped to the Black Hand of God, which is a severed hand of Celestial that was used as like a war ground, like a tournament ground. And then as they get there, Bruce Banner takes manual control of the Hulk, because up until this point he was like using this engine room to simulate fights from the Hulk. So the Hulk was like fighting a giant Iron Man, a giant Wolverine, stuff like that. And then so it's just not working. So he's like, I'm in control now. So he puts this helmet on, this like little spine thing, like apparatus, like Pacific Rim pops up, and it goes like overboard. And like he's like Thor. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z shit. Thor's like he's evolving as he's fighting. Like I don't know what's going on. And fucking laser beam comes out of the Hulk. Like he laser beams Thor, like out of nowhere. Like no build up, no nothing, just laser beams. And I'm just.
Kind of like how you're describing it.
Yeah, my bad. It's just like what? It's like come on. And like the next,
This was a bad description.
this is a bad book.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like the dialogue's not fantastic. It just gives you a recap in the beginning.
Is it the dialogue? It's the Hulk.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but at the
But Banner is speaking. Does Banner speak?
yeah. So whenever Banner takes over, he's speaking.
Okay.
And Betty Ross is inside of his conscience, and Betty Ross is like this fourth piece of the Hulk that's like trying to reason with him. And then with Thor, Odin is inside Mjolnir. And so Mjolnir is like talking to Thor as he's talking. And so there's this one kind of brief moment where Thor's like, I have this. And Banner's like, leave me alone. And they stop and look at each other like, who are you talking to? Like, that's just cheesy. And then they start fighting again. It's just, just stuff like that I didn't like. And then at the very end, spoiler alert, if you care about this shit, there's a big explosion that happens. Like Hulk blows up like a new power. Like he just super bombs. And like the final page, we kind of see like we think the Hulk survived and Thor died, but it's just a hulked out Thor.
Oh,
And the final line, Thor smash.
This sounds awful.
It is awful. It is trash.
so
It is-
now Thor's the Hulk.
Yeah.
Thor's a Hulk.
A-Hulk.
A-Hulk. Yeah.
Wait. Is Thor a Hulk or is Thor the Hulk?
We
Like
don't
they
know.
combined.
We don't know.
So you don't see a Hulk or you don't see a separate Hulk and Thor. You see a Hulk Thor.
You see Thor that had his armor on that is
Right.
bigger and green now.
Yeah.
So they could have
But
like
you don't see the Hulk.
nope.
Okay.
You just see a blonde Hulk, a blonde Thor Hulk.
So there's a possibility that they've combined into one
Maybe. Who
one
knows?
body.
Maybe.
This is
I'm probably not gonna be picking this up again. I'll read the news bits and if something cool, like something changes about it, I'll pick it up again, but I'm probably not gonna be following this story.
Yeah.
it looks very like goofy. I'm looking at like a lot of
Like
this.
it's silly. Like I mean it's definitely a Donny Cates book. Like it gives you it opens up with like a little history of Thor. So if you haven't been up to date with the characters, it's a really cool book to read and to catch up on it.
Catch up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
get a good status quo of what's going on because it kind of tells you what's up with Thor, what's up with Banner. So if you like Thor, if you like Hulk, yeah, pick this book up. Check it out for yourself. See what you think about it.
Sure.
I pick every little piece out unless it's Star Wars. Then I'm just like, I love this.
I love this too much. I love this too much
Yeah.
to criticize it. Ugh.
We talked about it in the chat, but like I think we all agree like that we all like don't like hulked out characters. Like
No. What are the 4 sins? We came up with 4 sins
Oh
of
yeah,
Marvel.
Yeah.
fuck. It was
The hulked out characters.
hulked out characters,
Venomized characters.
venomized characters,
Clones.
clones,
And variant.
and variants.
Multiversal variants.
There you go.
Multiversal variants.
We gotta write that shit down.
Gotta write that, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I read. And there was some other stuff in my poll, but I don't remember reading it. That's the one thing I really kind of analyzed and took notes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you guys?
Mono, did you read anything?
I just reread for today's topic because I thought it would be a good way to kind of show
Yeah, what is that?
the Batman and Elmer Fudd multiverse crossover kind of thing. Since we're talking about that kind of stuff,
How does that work?
like I feel like
Whose phone? Whose phone is
oh, that's
buzzing?
mine. Sorry,
It's his dad.
Oof.
It's your dad?
It's my dad.
Is he calling into the show? We should take him live. Mr. Ramirez, how are you doing?
Nah,
Tell Mono he needs to come take the trash out.
you don't want him to have a platform. Yeah, he'll.
What? I'm on the show? Back in my day, there was comics.
But no, this is.
I love the Lone Ranger. You shot those Indians. Whoa. We gotta go now, Mr. Ramirez. We've gotta go. Oof.
Yeah, so this is a story by Tom King and with Lee Weeks on the interiors.
Holy weeks.
Yeah, and it's about Batman and Elmer Fudd, a Looney Tunes DC crossover.
So is it a crossover or is it multiversal?
So I think it's multiversal, but I think it's a way that multiverses should be done, and because it's drawn very dark. Elmer Fudd is
Yeah,
not
like a
Elmer
noir-
Fudd.
like a-
he's drawn in set in
A noir comic.
noir comic.
There's a Porky Pig guy here.
Yes,
And
right.
a Bugs Bunny dude.
All
here.
the characters are humanized, kind of like Bugs Bunny is humanized, Porky Pig's humanized, and it's a story about Elmer Fudd. It's kind of like the Sin City vibe. You know how Marv in Sin City, Goldie, right? He meets this prostitute. He falls in love with her, and then she's dead. So
Yeah.
he goes on this manhunt, and it's kind of like Emerald Foot, that like he's going on this manhunt to find out who killed his bunny, I think is what he calls her in the book. And Batman intervenes. You know, he runs in. He's like, "Hey, you can't be coming in here and shooting up bars and with your shotgun and stuff." And they go at it. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and it kind of shows, I think, how a multiverse thing should be done. Because in reality, like, why would the Batman choose to go? Why would you need to continue this story, and other than a one shot? Why would Batman need to continue to chase Elmer Fudd when the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy are out doing the most heinous stuff? Like, it just kills the flow of the original character and the story and Gotham around it. And the art's great in it. The action's
looks
great.
really cool.
Like,
because they did multiple of those.
yeah,
didn't
they did. They like Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian. They did, and I think those might have been crossovers, because those might have been a little bit more animated. But I think they, with this story, especially Tom King being a good writer, wanted it to be something a little different. So I went back and read this because it's really good.
Yeah, they had a Daffy Duck and Joker.
Yeah.
They had let me see. So Porky Pig and Lex Luthor. What? Robin and the Batman, or Robin and Sylvester. That's silly. I remember they did the Hanna-Barbera books. The Flintstones was one of my favorites they did.
The Flintstones.
Yeah.
They tried to, those were definitely pretty good. Because they had all of them, like Galaxy Trio.
They had Space Ghost. They had Johnny Quest. Did they have a Johnny Quest book?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Oh yeah, and in the back they do a cartoon version. I guess another multiverse. So you got two kind of little multiverse stories in one book, and then that's it. It's a fun read. Oh, do y'all remember? That's that guy. I think oh no, that's just a toy. But yeah, that's all I really read. I didn't read anything else.
What about you, Danny?
I read nothing. I read absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, you read between the little shout outs, between our sponsors, huh?
Yeah.
What'd you read? What'd you scroll?
What I flipped through? Nothing. I didn't read anything. I was flipping through for updates on just random stuff, just to see what else was coming up.
Cool. Here's a good question for you. What books are you looking forward to?
None.
Really?
No. Do we just want to jump into the topic today?
Yeah, let's
I think that would be good.
Danny's just not impressed by any books out right now.
I'm really not. I don't know what it is.
I feel that way too.
You started reading that editor book, and now it's just on.
Yeah, now it's just on. I got a book in the mail, how to edit for comics, and yeah, I'm cracking the whip on these guys.
He's putting his application for Marvel.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna get in there one way or another. If it's not as an artist, it's as an editor.
I believe it, man.
Well, yeah, I do too.
Books that I'm excited for, like, I think the Judgment Day stuff coming up with Avengers, X-Men, and the Eternals. They released a trailer, like, for the comic with comic art, and they did voiceovers in it, and so the acting is pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, it's simple, it's quick, but it
gives you a feel for
it gives you a feel
setting
for it.
and
So
stuff,
that seems interesting. That's over in Marvel. Over in DC, I can't really, like, unless it's a Black Label book, like the new Aquaman book coming out. The Black Label. Oh, you got to check that out.
Man, I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, there's a Black Label Aquaman book. Ooh. Oh, the art, the interior art is beautiful.
Oh, man,
let me see who did that. The finale of Batman Catwoman with Tom King and Lee.
Oh yeah, you've been
Clayman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been reading that since it started.
Yeah.
DC brings psychedelic cosmic horror to Black Label Aquaman Andromeda.
Oh,
is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, you had me on that.
It's a hell of a
title.
title.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
Right, Christian Ward is the artist, the interior artist.
I'm in.
Man, I love this.
Yeah,
I love
that looks
this.
dope, right?
Who is that guy? Is that supposed to be Aquaman?
Probably.
Yeah. It's like this is probably like a variant stuff.
Looks like he's off of the Flying Dutchman.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. That looks dope. But like the main DC stuff, they just started Dark Crisis, and that's like our topic for today: the multiverse.
Yeah.
And how writers are using it more as a crutch instead of a writing device.
Yeah.
It's becoming overused.
Yeah.
I think Joey pointed it out the other day, and I was like, yeah, I kind of see that.
Yeah.
You know, what were you saying? Were you disappointed in it, like a multiverse kind of thing?
That was like, again.
Yeah,
I forgot what exactly. I had to go through the group chat and check it out again. But I was just every single story that's coming out, like, every single major event story.
Oh yeah, because
is now
even in Marvel they have Avengers Forever.
Yeah,
Forever, yeah.
and yeah, it's just like every single thing is either changing the retcon, or sorry, it's changing the history of it. It's moving backwards and sideways instead of just moving forward. There's nothing going forward. And plus, if you bring in multiversal stuff, it doesn't make the one shots as special, because now they can just go back in and pull them out, like the Thomas Wayne Batman. They fucked him up. He was a great character. They fucked him up by bringing him, and now he's everywhere. You know, it's a deal where if you have a multiverse, there's no stakes.
Yeah,
There's really no stakes. I mean, how many multiversal? Because like now in Marvel, there was the entire history of Galactus was changed recently with the Black Winter. Like the Black Winter is Galactus, but instead of eating a planet, he eats a universe. And originally, like the new thing is that Galactus was his herald originally, and he found this universe, and he's like, I'm gonna abandon him. I ran away from him. And exactly. And so like, if you have multiversal things, if you have a multiversal event, it's always going to change the status quo. It's always going to change the stakes, because I mean the stakes, I mean, if someone dies, it's another universe, they pop in, and that's just it. It's just a wall. If you use the multiverse, you just hit a wall. And for me, it's not fascinating anymore. It probably was, I was really interested in it, but like, even back then in the day, the multiversal stories, Infinite Crisis or Final Crisis, whichever one where Superman sings, it ends on a silly note. Like there's no big stakes anymore. Like the multiverse isn't interesting.
that's my favorite story.
Is it?
The Superman singing to save the universe.
Simon Cowell's like, that was bad.
No, like Randy Jackson's like, you going to Hollywood, dog. And Paula Abdul's just popping pills. Like, yeah, I loved it. That was great.
But no, man, like I'm fed up with the multiverse. I really want to see what a writer can do whenever there's not a multiverse thing at stake.
A multiversal threat or something.
I think I agree with you on how I was first excited when I started seeing all these different avenues, because I thought maybe they would start building the characters that we read on the regular. Like they were going to start giving them more dimensions, more situations where they have to think differently, or you see like Captain America in a different light, or he's starting to think differently and changing. He's still Captain America, he still have his views, but maybe he's contemplating, man, are my views the right way? But instead of that, they just create new versions of them, and it's like, just keep Captain America in a story. Like you're fitting him into something that it makes no sense. I feel like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining it or how I'm thinking about it, but it's like, that, like you said, they're expendable. If he does, beat the evil Cap or the zombie Cap or whatever, when fans get bored, instead of saying, okay, let's try to rewrite Cap or rewrite him, we're going to stick another Cap in front of them.
Yeah,
and that's who he's going to fight.
And they kind of did something like that whenever they did the Ultimate Universe, because the Ultimate Cap was a lot more grittier. I think he was he was definitely a lot more like pro-America, more patriotic, and he was like he would say, like, make jokes like, we're not the French and stuff like that. And then that made him his own character. And then whenever they did Cataclysm and all that, they just multiverse stuff again, and now there's no more Ultimate Captain America, and he's just gone. And now we have, the our Cap that we have here. But anyway, what I'm getting into, it's whenever there's multiverse things going on, there's multiverse this, multiverse that, it's really hard to put yourself into that character's shoes. I mean, as silly as it is to put yourself in a character's shoes that you're reading in a comic book, but what would Captain America, whose sole virtue is like, he's the Christian American dude, and his motivations are gonna be motivated by that, but he's gonna be fighting these threats that have like multiverse things. It just falls apart. The more you open it up, it just falls apart to me. Like, I don't know how Captain America would be motivated to do all of these things anymore if like this literally every possibility out there is happening. I think that they need to bring it all back to where the mystery is still alive to the characters, because all these characters would have to know like what's out there now, like bring it to where.
Well, that's part of the problem with DC. They had their multiversal event a couple, like 2 years back, like one of another multiversal event. And when they came out of it, the entire world knew that the multiverse existed. And so now, like you said, I guess the characters in the books, not just the heroes that we follow, but the everyday people that they don't write the stories about, are all living with this idea that what even matters. If there's another me out there, if there's more than just one me out there, there's a multiversal element to me. I exist on multiple levels. What am I doing that counts then?
Exactly. Like what is sacred? What has any weight to it?
Right.
Because in some universe that can be like, oh, I'm Superman in some universe, I'm on the Justice League in some universe,
Yeah.
And it just for to me, like a lot of
but that's one of the sins that we don't like.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
We don't. It's just like the multiverse is used entirely as a crutch, and like we're getting into it now. Like where everybody's probably going to be like, oh, I want multiverse stuff now. I want all this because of Doctor Strange, Into the Spider-Verse. And
all these trash variants. Like, it's really pushing that to where, like you said, people are wanting to see more. Okay, guys, we just developed this Moon Knight series. Wow, how many Moon Knights can we get? What other versions are there? Can we stick him in this universe that doesn't even make sense because we can make it happen and we want to see it on screen?
Like it's cool, but at the same time, it gets overused. Like if a perfect case scenario in Marvel or in DC, after their next big event that happens, they just seal off whatever access to the multiverse there is. Like we're on our own now or something like that. I think Marvel tried to do that with Cataclysm whenever they brought it down to two universes, and then it doesn't matter because they remade the multiverse. I don't know. They just can't let it go.
They just can't let it go. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now a word from our sponsor, Long Ass Wire. Long Ass Wire. Put TVs in multiple rooms with Long Ass Wire.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers. True crime. Rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. we'll be talking about a lot.
Dang. Kids will never know those cables, man. All the way to the back of the room.
Right? You get you a cable splitter.
Yep.
Run long ass wire, bro.
Long ass wire. Shit.
Did you have that plan? Was that ready? Was that in the chat?
I just popped it in my head and was like, oh, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna say? What am I gonna say?
It's funny.
What are we closing out with?
No, we can finish with the
Finish
multiverse.
Multiverse, yeah.
Got it.
We finish with multiverse. You were on Cataclysm and everything. So they cut it off with Cataclysm, but then Secret Wars reintroduced.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted to do that,
Okay.
because did you read Secret Wars?
I mean, I read bits and pieces. I haven't read the whole thing. I know, but you read it, so I can segue that over to you.
Did read it.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right.
Welcome back to the Longbox Podcast, where I'm not going to say the intro twice.
This would have been a third time. Yeah, this would have been three. Wow.
Shit, oh, wow, I did say it twice.
Yeah,
Damn
you
it.
did say it twice.
Damn.
Welcome to the.
Well, it sounded cool. It sounded cool. Getting back to the multiverse, what we were talking about before we left was Marvel. So
Marvel closing it off, but
Marvel-
like both companies have closed it off from time to time while reestablishing at a different period. DC's done it way more times than Marvel has. Marvel recently did it with
the Cataclysm.
and then with Jonathan Hickman taking over for Fantastic Four, Avengers, New Avengers, leading up to Secret Wars. At the end of Secret Wars, he reestablishes the multiverse for the Marvel Universe. So I think initially, the first go around of the multiverse, it was a writing element, it was a tool, and it was basically just DC trying to clean up the mess that they had made, that they had created with all their variants of characters. So they had a Superman, and he had adventures as an adult. He wasn't around until he was an adult. But they also had a Superboy who had adventures and jumped to the 30th century with the Legion of Superheroes. They had Wonder Woman who existed during World War II with the Justice Society of America. They also had a Wonder Woman who hadn't touched man's world until the Justice League formed in the 70s, 80s, whenever their timeline hits. They had a Batman who went out with purple gloves and carried a gun. They had a Batman who just hit the scene after his parents died and seeing like Superman. You know, they had all these characters. They had a Shazam. They did Shazam dirty. Like in comics wise, Fawcett Comics and everything. They had like Earth X with the Freedom Fighters. They had Earth 3 with the Crime Syndicate. And they were just kind of all over the place. And what DC initially wanted to do was just clean it all up and make one continuous timeline that all these things happen together instead of splintering them off here and here. And that was poor editorial from the beginning because they all wrote their books independently without them existing in the same universe at the time.
Dang.
So like when we started, you had that kind of idea, and I was like, no. Let's pull back and let's make them all work together.
Dang.
So even Marvel almost went down that path until they started crossing over their books early on, and that allowed them to make their universe whole from the beginning or closer to their beginning, because you still had like the Invaders and Captain America, and those characters kind of existed and interacted with each other, but you had the Fantastic Four. And you weren't sure until like issue 2 or 3 when Spider-Man came in, like, okay, yeah, they exist in the same city. They work together. So, but yeah, it was a writing tool in the beginning. But ever since then, like the time between, they use it to reboot the universe, but the time in between reboots keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So they had Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was from the 80s. Marv Wolfman, George Perez. Then in the 90s, they had like 0 Hour, and they had a bunch of them. They had Convergence here recently. They had the New 52. They had Flashpoint. They had 52, which was after Infinite Crisis. They had Final Crisis. Now they're starting Dark Crisis, and that's taking all the crises and merging them together into one. It's like, no. I like the premise of them gathering all the big bad guys and just obliterating the Justice League. But you don't have to make it a crisis type thing. You can tell a good story without it having to be a crisis, without having it be a reboot of sorts, because that's what's going to come out of this. Some sort of reboot. They introduced new legacy characters in the DC universe. And for now, while the Justice League is dead, these characters are stepping up to become the new Justice League. And I think with this Dark Crisis, it's going to try to solidify multiple Justice Leagues, because there's no way Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman are dead. There's no way they're going to stay off the table. You remove characters from the table for a little while, but you can't keep them off.
They're too popular.
Yeah, they're way too popular.
And see, this is where another part, like the little multiverse hiccup, because like the last time I picked up I was following one of the main books was whenever like one of the last multiversal crises, whenever Wonder Woman like ascended and became
a god.
Yeah. And so like now she's dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she had come back.
The stakes. That's what I mean. There's like no importance to these stories. Like,
okay, look, in comics, there are stakes, but the stakes are never that high because these books are continuous. If you want stakes to matter, then I get why people read manga, because those books end, you know? But like Batman, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, Justice League, Justice Society, what the Suicide Squad, all these books are continuous.
Do you think it's possible to have a continuous story in comics, like in the realm of comics, without having a multiversal element?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can definitely have a book that tells a story without having to cross over into alternate dimensions on either side of them or whatever. You don't need to do that. DC and Marvel did it for so many years. You know, like I said, it only started out as a writing tool to try to clean things up. And then they saw what triggered it, the continuous crutch, was money. Because those books did so well. Like, they did astronomical figures. It was crazy. Everybody wanted to see.
They'll still do well. I mean, if DC came out and was like, let's do a reprint of Infinite Crisis or of, Crisis on Earth, like, people would go out and spend money on that, even though they have the issues already. They would go spend, if they wanted to slap variants on it, or if they wanted to do it, like, there's money always going to be there. Like, and I think that's the double-edged sword part of it. Like, it'll never go away.
They need, like, we complain and bitch and moan about event fatigue because it does seem like there's a huge event every few months, which there is. I mean, if you look in the books, there's always something kind of splashed across the top, a couple of issues here and there. Like, we just got done with Devil's Reign in the Daredevil books, and it brought in like a bunch of street characters. Luke Cage, Iron Man was kind of there for a little while. Captain America, the Spider-Men were there involved. We just got done with Spider-Man's dealing with Ben Reilly becoming Spider-Man, and that kind of shook out. We're doing, we just got finished with Inferno in the X-Men books. There's the Avengers books right now that are going through something with a Mephisto, and they had the Heroes Reborn kind of thing. So there's always some kind of event, it seems like, going on. But if we're willing to pay money for it, to read it, they're going to keep putting it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't get away from it if that's what's making you money. And what's the biggest thing? Like, Crisis for DC. Crisis or some kind of reboot story.
See, I mean,
because everything establishes a new quote unquote status quo.
yeah.
With certain stakes until the next round of writers comes in and figures out a way to bring a character back. Like Final Night. Final Night was another one. It wasn't a hard reboot, but it came after Hal Jordan had become evil and the sun was dying. And the heroes are like Superman, helpless. Batman, helpless. You can't do anything. It's the sun. Like it's not the Joker you can go punch and tell him turn it back on. You know, you can't like flip a switch and turn the sun back on. It's not Lex Luthor with a giant shade in space. I've got you now, Superman. Turn your powers off. You know, it's the sun literally dying.
Yeah.
And so they approach Hal Jordan with his infinite Green Lantern powers to sacrifice himself as a hero and become the new sun, reignite the sun. And he does. He was supposed to die. That would have been a status quo changer. That would have been a huge element going forward. You could have had all the Green Lanterns continue to celebrate Hal Jordan's life. But no, Jeff fucking Johns and his love for lame characters brought Hal Jordan back.
God.
I mean, like all these stories, you say there are no stakes, and there really aren't, because again, these books are continuous. They have to reset at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop on the X-Men books. They've established Krakoa. They've established their own mutant island. They've established their own diplomacy. They're healing people, offering medications in exchange for independence from the world, sort of. They have already established themselves on Mars as their own planet now. I'm waiting for that shoe to drop when Mars gets destroyed and it's back to a barren place. All the Iraqi are killed off or shuttled into a pocket universe somewhere, and Krakoa is destroyed and the X-Men are back on the run. You know, you can only have a good thing in comics for so long before it has to change back to its original status at some point or another. So
That's a good way to put it. Sad way to put it.
it's very sad. Yeah.
It's going to be Galactus. It's going to be the ultimate mutant and eat the planet.
Yeah.
I hope not, man. I just like my wish list. They do something like they did with the Ultimate Universe, but modernized it, like here in the modern day.
So like the
and just,
Ultimate Universe.
right? But just don't touch it. Just let it be its own thing. Let those characters explore themselves. Let us have let us enjoy the mystery of the characters that they're feeling.
And that was good. Why do you think they got rid of the Ultimate Universe? I'm just asking. I have no clue. I know it was
Movies.
Movies, you think?
because they tied the here. Put my tinfoil hat on. They tied the MCU too close to the Ultimate Universe, and they weren't pushing their books from their main lines weren't selling as much, so they put them together. And then you put characters like Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe that was more popular than Peter Parker at the time, probably, and you bring him back in. So you destroy what you didn't like about the place. You take the characters that you wanted from, put them into your main line, start to segue your stories, get them in line to where the movies and the history of the movies and the history of the books kind of match each other. So that way, if they pick up some event book, they're not lost. Like right now, Shang-Chi, the next event book that's going to be happening is happening with the 10 Rings. And the 10 Rings look like the ones from the movie, like the little the bracelets and shit. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think. I think that's why they did that.
That's an interesting theory.
It's a reach,
No, I mean I can see it. I can see it. It is a little bit of a reach.
Because like the idea of them having this multiversal war with the incursion, its setup was really cool. The setup was awesome, you know. And then just to bring it all back,
Right.
I don't know. It just felt like a
Okay,
cop-out.
so when Hickman took over the X-Men, they interviewed him. Me read it because, of course. But his quote in there is like, I like to take the toys, meaning the characters that either DC or, because he had talks with both Marvel and DC before he came back and did the Marvel's X-Men, and establishing their new status quo going forward. But his quote was, I like to take the toys, take them off the shelf, break them, see what I can do with them. But at the end of the day, I have to put them back together and put them back on the shelf. So, like, you get what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this story that we're reading currently, or any story that's being told currently, at the end of the day, they have to be put back on the shelf the way everyone recognizes them.
At their core.
Yeah.
What they were, how they start. Yeah, that's some good perspective.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, you can put Batman through the ringer, like City of Bane or Hush or something where he's just going through his entire Rogues Gallery or Court of Owls and just really just beat the shit out of him. But at the end of the day, Batman's going to win. And in the next issue, he's going to be 100% again. He's going to be ready to go out and punch people in the face for jaywalking. But like, you get that, right?
I do.
Like Superman, you can take him off the table, but he's got to come back as Superman. You can make him blue electric or red electric, but he's got to come back as Superman sooner or later. You can kill him with another Kryptonian, but he's got to come back as Superman. When you see him next, he'll be Superman.
It's one of the 10 Commandments of comic books.
It's one of the 10 Commandments of comic books. Exactly.
You got to put it back on the shelf.
Ooh, yeah, we should do that. We should come up with 10 Commandments of comics.
Oh, here's a good question. So if you had to like shut off all the multiverses that were going on right now, shut them all off and start off with a single book, Justice League, Batman, Captain America, whoever, who would you have writing and drawing it to tell a long story?
I would write it. I would have both of you guys on it.
Okay.
If we're doing it that way. No.
Okay.
No, I would, for a writer, Kieran Gillen. I might be saying his name wrong. Kieran Gillen.
I think that's right.
I'd pick him. I don't remember reading any of a long work from him. I remember he wrote this book called Die, and I think it just ended recently, but it's like 24 or 28 issues, something like that. And it's a longer story, and so I want to see what he has. If he has if DC or Marvel gives him, hey, you have a year. But
what book would it be?
So like one?
Anything you want.
If we're starting off on the Marvel universe, probably put him on an X-Men book. Like open up the Marvel universe and the perspective of these mutants who were born with these powers, who are seeing these heroes that have these powers that are treated very differently from them. Do it that way. If it's DC, I hate to say this, but probably Batman. Put him on the detective, but I think that's already been done before. Like maybe with the New 52, like using Batman as like one of the focal points to discover this new world that we're inhabiting. Might be a cop out, but I'd say Batman on that one. So Kieran Gillen written for both of them, but for art, Ivan Rice. Just because I know his name and I know what his work looks like, and I can
just because I know his name.
Know his name.
Boy, like I can't pull any of the artists out of my ass.
I'm gonna get beat up after this filming.
Yep.
What about you, Danny? What would you do?
I don't know. I like the flagship titles like Avengers or Fantastic Four or Justice League. The big team books that really establish those universes, those characters, multiple characters in a universe. I could see the Fantastic Four discovering, scientifically discovering the characters, going like, oh, there's a radioactive spill in Hell's Kitchen. Let's go and invest. More of an investigative kind of sciencey team. Yeah. And then they like help establish these like not give them money or anything, but like, oh, we're gonna try and help you as best we can. Or like a science, like they have the science experiment and there's a rogue spider or something, or even the testing, like providing security in Nevada for the gamma explosion test. And then you can also introduce, because Reed is reaching out to multiple like universes, like the negative zone and everything. He could actually broach Asgard or something, or Olympus, be the first human there. And then that creates like the bridge that allows Thor to come back to Earth after thousands of years.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That's good.
Pretty cool.
So I could see that.
It's a lot better than mine, yeah.
Who would you have? Who would you, the writer and then the artist, if you could put that together?
The writer, I don't know. I kind of like Mark Waid. He does really good stuff with team dynamics,
he does.
And the artist, it's got to be, my number one artist would be Olivier Coipel. Number one artist. Second would probably be DK Ruin. Maybe like Tommy Lee Edwards.
Oh, okay.
He does like the real kind of like graphic style art.
Yeah.
I could see him like, especially, what if we could intersperse him? Like every time they visit a new location, it's Tommy Lee Edwards artwork. Oh. And then when they're back in like New York or something, it's Olivier Coipel.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, something like that.
Like how they did with Mitch Gerards and
Doc
Shaner. Yeah.
For Adam Strange.
Yeah, I love that book.
That was a really good
cool.
book.
The artwork.
Yeah,
that's a good setup. I would do the New Gods, and I would do Olivier Coipel and Jonathan Hickman on it.
Yes.
I want to see those big Universal.
Where's the
Apocalypse?
Where's the shut up and take my money meme?
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
that's how I would do. I was thinking DK Ryan too, because man, that dude's. I feel like he was already good. His art, and every time I see him put new stuff out, I'm like, this dude, like everything is changing about his art and in the best way possible. Like, so he's killing it. But yeah, that would be my. And like you said, that way there could be interactions between like Superman, the Flash, things like that, but on a universal scale,
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. So.
Awesome. That was really good. Holy shit. What, Joey's got a thought? Star Wars? No.
No, you mentioned the Flash. I think I'd have it to where I'd open up on a Justice League book, but I'd have it to where Flash, like an older Flash, like Barry Allen, but kind of like older, like a Jay Garrick character, new universe, runs trying to find his universe, pops into a brand new DC universe, can't get back. He's the starter character of this universe, and so he's kind of, oh fuck, that's Flashpoint. Fuck.
Not only is it Flashpoint, it's also the Silver Age, the launching of the Silver Age.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's how. Yeah,
I swear,
because rebooting the Flash in the '60s is what caused like the Justice League and everything like that.
It's too easy then. Fuck, that's the first thing.
No, it's a good premise. It's a good premise because
but it's been done
I
before.
consider Flash as a 0-point character.
And see, I think that's probably one of the only characters that really works in a multiverse setting is the Flash.
Yeah.
Because of the science behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
So, all right, guys. Well, this was a good episode.
Yeah. Hope we can have more like this, dissecting different little sins of comics.
Sins of comics.
Yeah.
So, you got any shout outs, Joey?
I got 2. 3. Shout out to my wife for putting up with me and encouraging me and all that fun stuff. Shout out to Mike and Rogue Media Network. We had a really cool mixer. Got to meet the rest of the Rogue Media family yesterday, so I'm really excited where we have going forward from there. Also, shout out to Mondo and Brooklyn Comic Con. We haven't really announced that yet, but
we'll be in Brooklyn this time next week.
Yeah, we will. So we're this is our first Comic Con that I've been a part of. That I don't know about these guys, but I've been a part of to where they've been the ones like, hey, we want you to come to us. We'll facilitate you. And so this is new to me. Like this hasn't even happened to me for skating. And I've been traveling all over the country and around the world for skating. Never before has it been like this. And plus, I've never been to New York for it. I've never been to New York at all. So I'm freaking pumped, excited. I'm nervous. I'm scared. Doing some
You
push-ups.
should be scared. It's Brooklyn. You gotta go.
Do we need to take our own Tims, or are we assigned Tims
I
when we
think
get there?
they might have some at the table.
They like,
Yeah, here's some Tims right here.
here's some Tims right here, son. Nah, son, nah, put these on. Yeah.
Oh man, but I'm pretty excited for it, man. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, shout out to my wife right now. She is fixing a flat tire out here, and while we were recording, while we're
Nice.
living the
Nice.
life. But yeah, shout out to Mike too. That mixture was awesome. We met some other podcasters that were definitely hopefully do some stuff within the future.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brooklyn Comic Con. Shout out to everybody locally. Shout out to these guys. Shout out to Danny and his wife Christina. They just celebrated their 10th anniversary.
Our 10th anniversary.
Yeah. So
It's
those are my
like,
shout outs.
the perfect reaction for our 10th anniversary is the Paul Rudd gif. One. Who'd have thought it? Look at us. Look at us. Look at us here.
Look at
Who would have thought, right? So, shout out to my wife for putting up for me for over 10 years, almost 20 years, guys.
Dang.
Almost 20
Did y'all
years.
do the anniversary? What is it? The first year is like paper or some shit, and then
The first year, she handed me divorce papers.
so
yeah, we did paper.
Dang.
She didn't hand Joey. He was like, for real? No, Joey.
They're still married.
Yeah, they're still married. We're still married. I never signed, so I have them framed.
He signed Danny Floref, so it's not
Mr.
legal.
Floref.
It's not
No.
legal.
Shout out my wife putting up with me for this long, and hopefully 20 more years and 20 years after that. I only see myself living for another 20 years, but whatever.
We got shit to do.
Yeah, we got shit to do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike and Rogue Media. Shout out to all the podcasters last night, especially Andrew G. Please don't take Joey when you make it big.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Please.
You're gonna have Joey standing behind him, shirtless.
Bro, with the bow tie. And just,
last
man.
night, Jess like, does he always do that to you? I'm like,
kind of.
Yeah.
kinda.
So,
Shout out to
anyways,
Andrew G.
shout out Andrew G.
Yeah.
So we're good. We're out. We'll see you guys next time.
Catch you next time.
See ya.
Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and tune in every other week to see what we have to say.
You can find us on social media. You can find Joey at Joey Gonzalez. You can find me at Armando Ramirez _art, and you can find Danny at Imaginary Heroics.
And you can find Plus Waco Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Plus Waco Comics.
Excelsior. Sweet Christmas. Sweet Christmas. Throw a couple of them in there. Curse you, Richards. I don't